Hey guys, welcome back to another whiteboard chat, and today we're going to go over my lab work. I posted about this in my story a little while ago, wanted to finally get this up. These were recent labs from a couple weeks ago, I believe. So as most of you know, some of you may not, but if you don't, I will tell you, I have been in a deficit phase leaning out for quite a while, like 4 or 5 months, honestly. It's just a really slow process, just really taking my time with everything. I've had a couple diet breaks in there as well. These labs are reflective of that time period. I've also moved recently, which was definitely a stressor. There was just a lot of extra things added on top of the already super busy schedule. So I somewhat expected these labs to show a little bit of stress, and I can kind of show you a couple things that did at least slightly that I'm going to keep an eye on, but I will go over everything with you. And there are some things I left out which weren't really important, but we'll go over starting on the CBC side. So over here, right off the bat, white blood cells 3.9, a little lower than I want to see for sure. Not terribly low, but lower than I would like to see. So that, along with a couple other markers of stress, lead me to believe there's probably a little bit of downregulation there going on. I will talk about that a little more as we go. RBCs look great, and sorry, some of these are small, so I'll go through them. RBCs look great, 5.2, pretty much middle of the range. Hemoglobin in range, hematocrit in range. No issues with any of the other CBC counts, so MCV, spot on. MCH, good. MCHC, good. RDW, good. So all these would let me know if there were potential B vitamin, iron deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies in that regard. Good to go there. So I do supplement with some of those things already because I've had those issues in the past. So I do use methylated B complex. I am an MTHFR gene mutator, so I do have to support with methylated B complex there, and lithium also for B vitamin transport. Those I generally get through either a singular methyl B complex and added lithium, or I'll use Morpho-Multi, which has both. It depends on how much micronutrient support I need, which I just base on my current diet. So fibrinogen, this is a clotting factor, so high amounts would show me potential abnormal clotting activity. I've also had D-dimer checked in the past. D-dimer, not a super good marker as the person gets older, but for me, pretty good indicator. No abnormal clotting activity there. GGT, so a liver marker, a liver enzyme marker, rather than just doing AST and ALT, which can be pretty inconsistent, especially in males with more muscle and people that are weight training hard. Kind of an unreliable marker. GGT being a little bit better in that regard. So my GGT is actually really good. A 13, the range goes up just from 0 to 65, so no issues. Hemoglobin A1C is a 5.1, which I expect will probably even go down a little bit more as I get more and more insulin sensitive. I can definitely tell that I am starting to. Glucose ranges in the 80s. Insulin levels were, which I didn't list on here, I believe were like 5-ish. So those things will probably even get a little bit tighter as the diet goes on. Homocysteine, great cardiovascular marker. Mine's a 7.4, it's right in the middle of the range, which B vitamin intake, especially folate intake, will impact that. So I had this checked, I didn't expect any issues there. Thyroid markers are good. Free T3, middle of the range. Free T4, middle of the range. Total levels, fine. No issues there. I did not list reverse T3, but I believe that was 15, 16, something like that. So, decent spot. It can get a little bit higher, probably might even go up a little bit as the body fat gets lower and the diet gets a little harsher, but that's to be expected. I'll mitigate that as much as I can with refeeding and diet breaks. Vitamin D 50, it's vitamin D 25 hydroxy, good spot there. C-reactive protein's at 0.4, so some say at 0 is what you want. 0.4 I'm not concerned about. It's really good mark. BUN, creatinine, both look really good. I'm really happy with the kidney function here. GFR is an 88. My GFR is always really good. You know, I'm anywhere from like 85 to 100, sometimes even a little above. So really good there, no problems. Sodium and potassium showing me a little bit of stress. So I tend to be not someone that gets higher cortisol. I probably do at times, but I'm definitely susceptible to insufficiency, to really tanking out. So if we look here, my sodium's a 138, which is fine, good spot, but my potassium's a 4.8, which is creeping up to that higher end of the range, which tells me that my adrenal function might be getting a little bit sluggish, and I see that along with my white blood cells. And I want to support with some morphogen adaptogen here, which will give me the mushroom complex for immunity and will also give me the adrenal glandular. I'll probably use that all the way through. You know, some people it's more of a concern to lower cortisol throughout these type of deficit phases. For others, it's actually needing to raise adrenal function. So it really depends on the profile, and that's something that's, you know, important to know and look at. And the reason we see those move is because of aldosterone levels being controlled by the adrenal glands, right? So if adrenal function lower end, then aldosterone goes low, so we retain potassium when we excrete sodium. Or if we have hyper function, higher cortisol usually, then we'll retain sodium and we'll see a lower potassium ratio. It's generally how that will manifest, okay? Chloride looks good, carbon dioxide looks good, calcium levels good, protein in the blood good, albumin, globulin good. Slightly off on the A to G ratio, which is the albumin to globulin ratio. So I did actually have a urinalysis done here too. So that's going to check proteins in the urine, any issues, discoloration, stuff like that. Perfect, no issues. So kidney function looks really good. Bilirubin, nice spot. Alkaline phosphatase, good spot. So like liver function, those along with GGT shows that the liver is functioning really well right now. AST and ALT are actually in range, 29 and 27. That can be tough to do for guys, especially women a little bit easier. They generally have less muscle. Men, liver enzymes can be all over the place, so it gets really tough. Very happy with that. My liver and kidneys are super happy right now, and they normally always look good, so no issues there. Ferritin, 114. That's a little bit lower on, the range is 30 to 400, so it's a huge range. I obviously don't want to see it high. That can be an indicator of inflammation or iron abundance. But a 114, a little lower in the range. I've actually, with my calories getting lower, I've started adding in some more beef meals. I really wasn't doing that as much before because I was eating so much that I was having issues with iron overload. So I added in beef meals, not every day, but when I do have it, I'll have about a pound in a day. Grass-fed beef, normally I'll split it. I'll get 2 meals out of that normally. So I'm doing that more frequently throughout the week. All in all, everything looks really good. I'm super happy with this. I am prescribed testosterone replacement, so my test levels are fine. Estradiol is always pretty good. I think it was like 40, in the 40s. Testosterone was 920, somewhere around there. Those don't really move much, but everything else looked really good. Liver function, awesome. Kidney function, great. Only thing, and no clotting issues, insulin sensitivity is increasing, thyroid looks good, etc. So the only issue really is I'm going to really support that immune function. I mentioned the adaptogen and adrenal function there, making sure I'm getting enough antioxidants and things in the diet. And honestly, as the routine kind of normalizes here a little bit, it continues to be super busy, but it's a little less different. It's just more structured, right? So that will help, but going to continue to need to take, deloads, diet breaks, refeeds, stuff like that as needed. Otherwise, everything looks good. I hope everyone enjoyed the lab work video. If you have any questions on this, feel free to let me know, and I would be happy to answer them. We'll talk to you guys next time.